Good morning everybody. Thought I'd make a video, one second, now that we've got our Christmas tree up and we've got our Christmas music on, and I thought I'd make a video that looks at something we get asked all the time. Mike, what happens when you give me a chiropractic adjustment and I hear a click or I hear a crack? Lots of times people think that the bones are being cracked. Even after being here for 19 years and helping a ton of people, a lot of people think that the bones are being cracked. We'll have a look at that in a minute. And a lot of people don't realise as well that there's a lot of chiropractic approaches that I use where you don't hear a click, you don't hear a crack, yet you get a lot of good out of it. And lots of people are really surprised by that. And the other thing that people are surprised by is whether we use a chiropractic adjustment where you do hear a click or a crack, or whether we use one where you don't hear anything. I'm going to try and explain how it benefits a person, because one of the things that we have to deal with on a daily basis is, because we've all got YouTube now, we've all got Facebook, we've all got Instagram, people come in and they've seen very short videos that show people having pretty dramatic looking things done. And a lot of people think that that's how it's going to be when they come here. And it puts people in a no man's land, because a lot of people are scared by what they see on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, but they've seen it work. So they think, well, I want the benefits of that thing I've seen on Instagram, but I don't want the thing being done. So they're really in a hard place. So I'm gonna basically share with you what we do here that's worked for people for, I've been here for nearly 19 years, and my predecessor who opened the practice was here for about 7 or 8 years at least before. So the whole thing about the noise that you hear during a chiropractic adjustment, and an adjustment is where I use my hands to very specifically and carefully release and realign your spine so that your spinal cord can work better. And when we work to release your spine or realign it, we put a very quick but careful movement into the spine. And each time I do that with a person, it's gradually unlocking a person's spine and spinal cord. And the little click or crack that a person can hear, it's not the bones that make the noise, but it's the joints in between the bones. So if ever you come to see us, we show a lot of people a multicoloured plastic spine, and each bone has a little hinge linking it to the one below. The hinge is the joint. So when I give somebody a chiropractic adjustment and work on releasing and realigning those bones, the little click or the little crack comes from the hinges that are in between the bones, not the bones. And I always talk about this because 19 years ago, I looked after a lovely elderly chap who was hard of hearing, and he was a farmer. He was getting tons better with chiropractic care, and he said, "It's great, this crack in my bones, lad, thank you." And he brought his son in because his son was concerned. "Can I just ask you," and his son was a lot bigger than me, "why are you cracking my dad's bones?" So I had to say to him, if we'll call him Mr. Smith, we'll call him Mr. Smith. "What I'm doing, Mr. Smith, is working on releasing and realigning your dad's spine. When we release and realign the spine, the joints in between the bones make a little noise. And it's just some feedback from the body to say that we've released an area." It's a lot like if you close your microwave door, it gives a little click. If you lock your car, it gives a little click. It's as harmless as that. It's some feedback from the body. So that made sense to him. And then also, more and more, we've worked with people they're really scared to have chiropractic care. Sometimes because they've seen all these YouTube and Instagram videos where it looks like something from a mixed martial arts bout. But they're scared because they've gone through a lot of trauma, and they could have gone through a lot of trauma physically. They could have been attacked, they could have played a contact sport, or they've gone through a lot of trauma emotionally, like they're a carer, so they're lifting and supporting an ill or injured partner at home. They're trying to do a job. They're trying to still have a relationship. So they're under a lot of stress. And their concern is that, well, if this guy does something to me that uses much force, will it make me worse? We get that a lot. So the techniques that we use with children, and these are ones that I've used with my own daughter at home, is a type of adjustment where we work on releasing a misalignment by holding the area the right way. So it's a bit like, I suppose, if you wanted to put a key in a lock, you could go up to the lock, line the key up, and place it in the lock very quickly and carefully. That'd get the key in the lock, it'd do the job quite well. Or another way would be place the key against the lock and just gently ease it in, wiggle, 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 wiggle for a few seconds, a minute or so, and it would do the same job when you think about it. And the reason we know it works so well is we've had babies like Daria, who's on our Facebook wall. She came in, she couldn't weight bear, she couldn't crawl, and one adjustment later, because her little body was so ready to start progressing, one adjustment later, 24 hours later I should say, she's crawling or trying to crawl and learning to crawl. So I always explain this to people because there's so many out there who could benefit from chiropractic care, but they think, well, I don't want that stuff I've seen on YouTube, I want the benefits, but what I see scares me. And I absolutely guarantee when you use gentle approaches with people, they work just as well as more dynamic approaches that use more speed, more energy. And that's the nice thing about coming here, really. We've got different ways of adapting chiropractic care to different people, because there's a lot of similarities, but everyone's a little bit different. So no two people get exactly the same chiropractic care or adjustment when they get here. It's always tailored, it's always adapted. And the other question I get asked is, well, isn't it going to hurt, Mike? Is it going to make me a lot worse? And the reason why it doesn't hurt is because when a person comes in, we ask them some important questions before we do anything. We check the spine with our hands. We can check the spine with an X-ray study. We can check the spine with a scan that looks at how the spinal cord inside it is carrying signals up and down. So by the time we work on a person and give them a chiropractic adjustment, we've had a really good look at how their spine is put together, where it's aligned, where it's misaligned, where it's stuck, where it's moving nice and freely. So that means that when I go and work on a person, I've seen how they're put together, so I can match my skills and match what I do to what that person needs. Again, it's like putting a key in a lock. If you can see the lock, you can see the key. I know I'm labouring the obvious, you can put the key in the lock properly and safely and turn the lock. And it's a lot like that with our procedures we use where we assess people. And one more thing is, this amazes people. They go, Mike, that only took a minute. Why did it only take a minute? So it only takes a minute when we work on somebody for all the reasons we've already talked about. But the deeper reason is every single benefit everybody's ever had coming here for the last 25, 26, 27 years is because I keep going on about putting a key in a lock. Imagine our patients are Ferraris and Rolls Royces and Lamborghinis and a Ford if you want to be a Ford, if you don't want to be a Lamborghini. But they're all alive and living. They're not just lumps of metal with engines. When I give somebody a chiropractic adjustment, it takes a few seconds to a minute. It's a lot like when you press the start button on a car. You only need to know where to press that button and the whole car comes to life, because the car is built and designed to come to life that way. So when we give somebody a chiropractic adjustment, it's helping release their own energy within. It's helping release their own ability to heal. It's helping them connect the brain with the body. And because that's such a big thing, and that's such a big thing that a person do, my bit is really to start a process. It's not that when somebody comes in, what I'm doing is the start and finish of them getting better. Really, it's a very small start. It's like me going, oh, you're a nice Ferrari. Let's put the key in the lock or press the start button. And then when the person gets up off our adjustment table a minute later, their body starts a process with what we've done. It's not really that I've fixed them or cured them in that session. I've helped reconnect and realign a person's spine. That helps the person's brain and body connect up better. And then that carries on the second they get up off the table, and it carries on for the rest of their lives. Obviously, the reason we keep repeating visits with people over months and even years is because you've got to build that effect up. You can't just do it once, unlike a car where you switch it on and it's on or off. That's where we're different. But that's the reason why it's such a short thing, because it's not an event. When I give somebody an adjustment, it's not that I've gone, right, you fixed, you're cured now. It's, right, we've released your spine just a little bit, because we can only do it a bit at a time. That's going to help you generate your own healing response. And your healing response or ability is something that you're using all the time. We're helping people be more connected up to that. So I'm gonna be quiet now because I've talked a lot. I hope today's video helps, and I hope you're looking forward to Christmas. It's always a good time to be healthy. Have a really good day, everybody. I'm Dr. Mike at Wigan Family Chiropractic Hospital. Bye-bye, guys.